Hey Cancers, my name is Jacine, also known as Tempest Trade, and this is your energy check-in. These messages may resonate if you have the Cancer Zodiac anywhere in your chart. Please use discernment when listening to these messages, since this is a collective for many different types of people. Check in with your intuition, check in with your gut. Also, it doesn't matter when this video was recorded, when it was uploaded, or when you come across it, there could be a message in here for you. And lastly, if you're interested in a one-on-one private session with me for tarot, divination, energy healing, or sound healing, you can go to my Linktree, Tempest Trade, or send me a message on any of my social media, and all of the links are in the description below. Now that that is out of the way, let's get started with what Cancers need to know right now. So I do what I always do, which is start a random song generator. So it pulls random songs from all over YouTube and Spotify. And the first song to come on is Fireball by Pitbull featuring John Ryan. Now, there's also sirens going on outside. So with the combination of that together, this might be centered around either going out having fun, because Fireball is, for example, a whiskey, but Fireball is also, it could be anything hot and spicy. So we have the King of Pentacles in the sideways. I'm taking this more sideways rather than reversal. So King of Pentacles is a person that is stable, reliable, dependable, consistent. Pentacles represents the element of earth, which represents finance, career, material wealth, monetary wealth. And it could also represent stability and groundedness within self, because earth. So this could mean that maybe you have a tendency to have too much fun. Maybe you get a little carried away. Maybe you drink too much. Maybe you party too much. And I'm saying maybe because maybe you do indulge a little excessively, and it creates instability. I feel like this is another sideways card. The Two of Cups in the sideways. Two of Cups represents equivalent give and take. Cups is the element of water, and water represents your emotions, your emotional inner world, things that affect your feelings, happiness, fulfillment, bliss. So together, this is giving me the feeling of maybe you or someone else you know. I also have to say, King of Pentacles doesn't have to be a person. It could be a job, a project, a situation, a dynamic, an idea. It could be something, anything that involves maybe stability, career, finance, legacy, long-term legacy. So whatever this is that's in the sideways, which is kind of either back and forth or uneven, maybe stagnant, whatever it is, it's not really equivalent exchange. It's not reciprocal. This could be a person looking for love. This could be a person trying to find emotional fulfillment in a job or a project. This could be a person trying to find emotional fulfillment within themselves. This could be a person trying to find emotional fulfillment within or in a connection with someone else. In a connection with someone else. Four of Wands in the upright with the Nine of Wands in the reversal. So the Four of Wands is commitment, dedication, marriage, a contract, a bond. It's in the upright. So let's just say, for example, if this is about a relationship, you might be the King of Pentacles. You might be someone who is a little unstable right now because you are connected to something or someone emotionally that really isn't giving equally. But it seems as though like you want something long term, you want something stable, you want a commitment. And maybe you're not committed. I was going to say maybe you're not committed, but the very next random song to come on is She's My Collar by Gorillaz. We're going to have to figure out the lyrics to this. She's my collar, because collar could be a good thing, collar could be a bad thing. My collar lyrics. I could take her down and run, then I'd call her, because she's standing drama. She'll know I call her. She'll know I call her. She's getting on the sun, and then she ordered, imagine me now. She's my caller. I don't take her number. I just don't think I'd call her. I take her down to somewhere dreading all day. I clear my system. I don't need no other. This is my persona, secret lover. She's my caller. Interesting. Because the Knight of Wands, Page of Swords, in the upright on the bottom of the deck. So the Knight of Wands in the reversal, this is kind of like don't move forward. It's something is blocked. Something is maybe a little too aggressive, maybe a little jealous, a little hot-headed. Maybe because Wands is the element of fire. Fire represents passion, creativity. It could also represent sensuality or sexuality. I do also have to point out this Four of Wands card is it's two people embracing, and they're in more because it seems to be a wedding, so they're in more simple clothing, more like half naked. So it might be something dealing with passion. If this is you and you are connected to someone, maybe it's like a connection that's not only is it uneven, but it almost seems as though it's more of a physical connection rather than a true emotional connection, or there are certain things blocked or stagnant, possibly in the intimacy area. If not intimacy, then it's possible that there's blocks or stagnation in like, yeah, I would just say intimacy overall. Because let's say if a person is unhealed and they tend to flirt or are really jealous or suspicious, that overall is just an intimacy-based problem. It's trust, vulnerability. Page of Swords in the upright on the bottom of the deck. Clarity, but also understanding that it's the beginning of something, the beginning of clarity. For example, you have to start somewhere. If something is uneven or unreciprocal, if something isn't exactly making you happy, you have to start somewhere. You have to begin with clarity of mind. Once you're clear of mind, you can... The next random song to come on is Marry You by Bruno Mars. And I told you this commitment card, it's like you're looking for commitment. And this song, I Think I Want to Marry You. This song is more like a fun, is it the look in your eyes or is it this dancing juice? See? Who cares? I think I want to marry you. This is like what I was saying. Just a little too passion, a little too much passion. This song, Marry You, it's just passion, it's just fun, it's just excitement, it's not real. Who cares if we're trash, got a pocket full of cash we can blow? Shots of Patron. And like I said, the first song is called Fireball. I feel like you, as the Cancer, have a little bit of a party issue, or a little bit of maybe an overindulgence in drinking. I wonder if this is a call to... It's a beautiful night. We're looking for something dumb to do. I think I want to marry you. I think I'll take this in the upright. Old Chestnut. I want to marry you. Okay, so Old Chestnut. An old saying proves true. Others follow your advice. Things are exactly as they seem. Common sense reveals a clue. Constant repetition, but in the reversal. See, Old Chestnut is kind of like an old saying proves true. It's like you're not really paying attention to common sense. For example, we know a lot about human nature and human behavior in general. We already know. But we have a tendency to ignore the natural progression of certain human behaviors, or the natural flow of certain human behavior, because of our own desires. Our own desires doesn't change someone else's actions. It's kind of like separating the two. Just because you want something, or you want someone to do something a specific way, doesn't mean they're going to do it a specific way. So I know that's a little convoluted and mixed up, but essentially it feels like when you know that something is unreciprocal, when you know that you are in a connection that's uneven, ultimately you have two choices. Either one, have a conversation about your observations or your feelings, and then see from the conversation if there can be a change within the dynamic, or you leave the dynamic and you search for a different connection or a different dynamic that is already naturally what you are looking for. Those are like the two choices that you have when something doesn't align with you. You can either try to align with it, or have it align with you, or find some middle ground, or you leave and you find something that's just better. And it's interesting that I say that, because the very next random song that came on is Big Girls Don't Cry by N Hypen. So with this Old Chestnut in the reversal, it's like whoever you are, or whoever you might be connected to, that could be this King of Pentacles, because this doesn't have to be you. This could be someone you're connected to. It's like they are not listening to everything that's been told to them, or like not paying attention to the guidance. Interesting. For the for the Two of Cups in the sideways, we have collective memory in the sideways and Schadenfreude in the reversal. Collective memory is self-explanatory. It is an event that is shared by a collective. Could be two people, two or more people, essentially. But it's in the sideways. So it's kind of like whatever this connection is, it could be, again, it could be a romantic connection, could be a friendship, a family, it could be a job, a project, a community, just any type of thing, situation that should be or is desired to be emotionally fulfilling in some type of way. And there's not much emotional fulfillment, or it's not always even. I'm getting the sense that if this is about a connection, it's like the two people in the connection have two different perceptions of things, because collective memory is how present you are. Like if you share something, but in the sideways, It's like two people are not sharing the same experience. That's what it is. And Schadenfreude, in the upright, it represents getting pleasure from someone else's pain, but in the reversal, I mean, reverse it. It's you don't enjoy someone else being hurt. You don't enjoy stressful, painful situations. So, from whatever this is, I'm getting the feeling that whatever connection, again, if this is a connection, if this is a friendship, a family, a job, whatever connection this is, whether it is a friendship, family, connection, job, project, relationship, it's like you and whatever this is, whoever this is, you don't have the same experience, or you're not experiencing this situation, this connection in the same way. And it might be uneven for both of you. And it seems like neither one of you enjoys it. Like both of you, you're in the same boat, essentially. Something is a little off, something is unreciprocal, you don't have the exact same experience. For example, you and another person could experience something together. But let's just say you and them have different outlooks, different perceptions, different like memories, different, like you both experience the same thing in different ways. And maybe you're not really on the same page. Like if you went out to dinner and you thought the dinner was great, they thought the dinner was crappy. It's something like that. But it's kind of like someone not saying that something is kind of unaligned, or something doesn't feel very even or reciprocal, because you don't want to create problems, or you don't want to you don't enjoy it. You don't enjoy seeing someone else hurt. We have pride that has come out in the sideways, and that's for the commitment, dedication, marriage card. It's kind of giving me the feeling of set your pride aside. If you've been ignoring certain advice or guidance, if you've been ignoring your gut feeling, your intuition, if you've been ignoring signs because of whatever reason, maybe your pride, it's like it's time to set that aside. Pay attention. Or maybe certain ideas you have about commitment, like it's more pride, more ego. Rebellious youth in the upright. Yeah, I feel like this stems from something in your childhood, something that you're healing. Because the Knight of Wands in the reversal, like there's a bit of explosiveness, a bit of jealousy, maybe a temper, a little more passion, a little less thought. Like it's kind of reckless. So rebellious youth, it makes sense. They're like, you're rebelling against something. This is, or you or it or whoever, whatever this is, that is a little like antagonistic, maybe just a little rough around the edges. It's because there's some type of push, some type of pushback, and it's something to do with possibly an experience or a belief, an outlook, going back to this collective memory. Indra, the god of storms, with nightmare on the bottom of the deck. It's interesting. So the Page of Swords, and that's interesting too, because swords, element of air. Air is clarity. Storms Storms make things very unfocused, very unclear. There's also a lot of damage that comes from storms. So then the sideways, especially with the new beginning, fresh start with clear mind, clear thought, you're going to have to use your mind a bit more to cut through the haze. And nightmare in the upright, you might have nightmares. You might stay up at night. Or you're scared. Night terrors. You don't want to sleep alone. What is it? You don't want to do it alone. The next random song is New Flame by Chris Brown featuring Usher and Rick Ross. New Flame. So again, if this is a connection, you can try to rebuild or to try to fix something with this connection, or leave to more greener pastures. Just keep in mind that this Knight of Wands with a rebellious youth, be sure you're not acting on impulse with the grass is greener on the other side. Like, be sure that whatever it is that's unaligned, that it's unaligned in a, like, you can't actually work through it. If it's that type of unaligned where it's just irreconcilable differences, then yes, make the appropriate choice. The next cards that we have out is Gruesome Deformity in the reversal with Entangling Vines in the upright. Gruesome Deformity is like a be careful what you wish for type of card. But in the reversal, you don't really have to be careful what you wish for. It's kind of giving me the feeling of someone who genuinely has pure intentions. But I feel like with this Entangling Vines, your pure intentions get you a little caught up in situations. Is that the reason why you sometimes ignore certain things? You ignore certain signs, you ignore certain guidance. You're a little unstable because you overextend yourself a little bit. You get yourself caught up in certain situations that it's like, maybe it wouldn't have got on this long if for some reason I was thinking pushover. But again, take it as it resonates. This is a collective for different types of people. It may not always be overextending yourself. This could just also mean that in your heart of hearts, you just are a genuine person, and that whatever instability you're currently going through, it's nothing because of like you being a bad person. It's just, the situations and the circumstances that you happen to find yourself in. And again, doesn't necessarily mean that you're always ignoring certain guidances, but when we want to see the best in people, we do tend to ignore red flags. So we have channeling as the next card to come out, and that's for the Two of Cups, collective memory, and Schadenfreude, which is interesting because channeling is also like praying, meditating, journaling. Channeling is in its basic definition, you are quieting yourself to allow an actual connection to yourself, if that makes sense. Because it doesn't matter if you are if like your subconscious or your conscience is peeking through, or if you are just getting more in tune with your intuition, your heart's desires, or if you are actually speaking to another entity or creature somewhere out there. Regardless, this is like tapping into something. And it's almost like tapping in order to understand. For example, if you and someone or something else or whatever, 1111 on the time. This Four of Wands is also known as the 1111 card, okay? So this probably, and 11 minutes on the new timer because I just started, I had to take a pause. So 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, like a lot of 11s. And this 2 is like 1, 2, which is like an 11. Anyways, I really feel like this does have to do with relationships, couples, marriage. But essentially, if you and a partner, if you are experiencing something together, and then you suddenly realize that both of you are having very different feelings, very different opinions about the experience, and you're not on the same page. Channeling is very much like taking the moment to understand each other, taking the moment to settle down, open yourself up, and communicate. This could be communicating with each other or communicating with gods, goddesses, ancestors, universe, source, spirit, in order to gain more understanding of the person that you are connected to or involved with, or for example, guidance in your connection. So it's like ask for guidance. When things are iffy, ask for guidance, which makes the most sense when you really think about it, because the guidance can only be true at that point. When you're not really going to other people, you're looking within and without. Not without as in other people, but like, opening up to the universe, opening up to your partner. And again, if it's not a relationship, which very much gives me the feeling, very much gives me the feeling of relationship. It could just be any type of connection dynamic where you are having to essentially build with someone. Dreams, cryptic dreams, nightmare dreams. I'm telling you, there is something to do with your dreams. This is interesting too. This card, you take a look at it, it's like a genie or another creature sitting on like a massive throne, and they're holding what looks to be a mirror, but the mirror's got a face. And this mirror's on the sideways. So this is kind of giving me the feeling of look within, pay attention to your dreams. Again, pay attention to your intuition, your gut. Look at yourself. Are you ready for this? Do you want this? What do you want? If you've asked, if you've prayed, wait for some signs. Don't ignore the signs, though. If this isn't about marriage and it's about something that you need to be committed to, again, pay attention to the signs, pay attention to your dreams, look at yourself in the mirror, ask yourself if you really want this commitment, if you can really go the distance with whatever this is, if you can face yourself and face this rebellious youth, whether this youth is inside you, like your own inner child acting out, or your own unhealed patterns from childhood, from previous experiences, or, I just suddenly thought, you could be a parent. You could be a parent trying to... You could be a parent trying to build a romantic connection, and you've got a very wily child that is stressing you out and stressing the connection out, or making it difficult to find the right partner. Ooh. So we have explosive impact and we have lost in a labyrinth. Definitely with healing some type of inner wound, healing some type of inner child wound, or just some type of immature reaction, immature habit. Something that was definitely impactful. And if this is about you having a child, then whatever has caused your child's rebellious nature is definitely some type of wound, and it needs to be addressed. If you are the person that has some type of immature nature, it stems from a situation, and that needs to be addressed. From like a childhood situation or something that affects your inner child. This is probably why it says to constantly look in the mirror too. Reflecting. For example, long-term commitment, that is no joke. You only have two options when it comes to long-term commitment. One, you fake it till you make it, or two, you build it. And when you build it, you're also healing it. Faking it to make it, there is no healing that goes along with that. It's just you're patching everything up with duct tape until one day you make it big. With the building, you are measuring the foundation. You are drawing up the blueprints. You are ensuring safety measures and like safety exits and routine maintenance, renovations. Like there's a lot more that goes into that. So it's like, take a closer look at the commitment that you are trying to aspire to. My little thingy over here chimed. So yeah, taking a closer look at yourself, at the things that the type of dedication and commitment that you are searching for, and giving. Remember, it's also a give and take too, no matter what it is. It doesn't have to be romantic necessarily, but jobs, give and take. Family, give and take. Diviner's lockbox in the reversal. Mm. Mm. When we think about a lockbox being opened, it's either broken into or it's opened with the key. And this is to clarify the god of the storms, Indra, and the Page of Swords. So it's like cutting through the storms, the chaos, the confusion, for this new beginning. And unlocking something important. Your stability, something, unlocking something, it's yours. Healing grace and the sideways for the nightmare with defend the hearth in reversal. An interesting combination of cards. If I know I said this nightmare with this dreams, I did mention how you might not like sleeping alone, or like you might have night terrors, or you just might have this codependent kind of nature. So with this healing grace, I'm kind of getting the sense that if it is a codependent kind of nature, then you do need to heal it. You do need to work on that. And maybe you do have this awareness that you have this codependent nature and that you do know that you need to heal it. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're on the healing, sometimes you're not. And you have your modes. This could also mean, if it's not codependent nature, this could mean, for example, the rebellious youth. It could be healing certain mindsets, certain things that keep you up at night. Healing certain beliefs that turn what should be dreams into nightmares. First card to come out is Deadpool in the reversal. I'm just here for the snacks. Yeah, you're not just here for the snacks. See, Deadpool's an anti-hero. And it's kind of like, maybe you have a tendency to put on this devil may care attitude a little bit, because we do have the good intentions card. And the thing about Deadpool is that this character like hides good intentions and hides it with a mask, and like has good intentions. But the I'm just here for the snacks, it's like here for a good time, not a long time. But I think in this context, you're here for a long time. You're not just here for the snacks. We have Loki and Wolverine. Care to discover your glorious purpose? What is the purpose of a connection? What is the purpose of reciprocity? What is the purpose of understanding and comprehension? And what is the purpose of shared emotion? If you, viewer, watcher, traveler, if you have watched the Loki TV series, spoilers, so feel free to skip ahead 10 seconds, 15, 30 seconds, a minute or so. But if you watched the show and you saw his progression, his purpose ended up being to care, to like, I was going to say to have and to hold, which is funny because again, in the TV show, he becomes the tree. He grasps all the timelines, all the strands in his hands to hold them, and in doing so allows infinite space because he is a god. And it's funny too because channeling, I did say like channeling is that moment where you're looking within and it's kind of looking without. You're opening yourself up to gain more access to understand. So it's like, and I like this wordplay, care to discover your glorious purpose. Yeah, care is your glorious purpose. The purpose of connection, to care, to have, to hold. This really is feeling like a love. So Wolverine for the Four of Wands. When I'm alone, I'm in great company. I was just talking about codependency. Wolverine, he suffered through a lot of death. So he always ended up being alone. And it's kind of that modality of being able to weather life alone, being able to be alone and be good company to yourself. Because if you can be good company to yourself and you're alone, then a person around you, it's like in being loving to yourself, you show another person the way in like to be equally loving, to like lead by example. But not just leading by example, but kind of like loving yourself, being okay with yourself. Connection is amazing, but connection can only be amazing if you are also amazing to yourself. Like, okay, that's too much, but I guess we'll take it. Kitty Pride, we all begin somewhere. Look at that, rebellious use. We all begin somewhere. With Miss Marvel, I am part of something bigger. And Domino, I'm always feeling lucky, but in the reversal. And I'll take the Domino with the Nightmare. Miss Marvel with the Page of Swords. I am part of something bigger. If we're talking about connection and marriage or coupling, then yes, you are definitely part of something bigger than yourself. And we all begin somewhere with Kitty Pride. Kitty Pride is able to phase through walls, breaking down the walls, breaking down the barriers. So this is very much like breaking down the barrier between you and your inner you, like breaking through the walls. And we all begin somewhere. It begins at the beginning. It's at the beginning. These are very good word plays with the words on these oracle cards. If this is about a family dynamic and you have a child, then breaking down the walls between you and your child. And I don't know why it took me so long to even think about this reading spread as involving a child, probably because that child card came out, but Anyways, now being part of something bigger, we have this diviner's lockbox. When we think divine is big, all encompassing, larger than us. And then we have a God card out here. So God, divine, something bigger. This is giving me the feeling of when you are trying to search for a certain type of commitment, or you are entering a certain type of commitment, lifelong commitment, religious commitment, like any type of bond contract, it is beyond yourself. It's bigger. Excuse me. It's bigger than yourself. And you may not always feel lucky. Things may not always go your way, but that's where the healing grace comes in. Having grace with yourself, especially when you are healing through certain things that have done a lot of damage and has greatly affected your heart, and probably has greatly affected what you view as family life or marital life, like couples life. This really does feel family centered, home centered, like emotion centered. So Cancers, I hope this resonated with you, and I do wish you well along your journey. If you're interested in a one-on-one private session for tarot healing, energy healing, sound healing, divination, you can go to my Linktree, Tempest Trade, to view my services, or send me a message on any of my social media. All the links are in the description below. Until next time, bye.